Hey, hey, hey. So apparently there's a collab between Apex Legends and, oh god, that's embarrassing, and the new Final Fantasy game. Apparently, this character, or like the skin of her, is going to be in Apex Legends, right? So things like this happen, right? You have collabs between certain games, like certain execs get together and be like, oh, hey, you can promote our game through this game and people be more interested in this game. And you can use, I don't know, skins or concepts or quotes or whatever, right? So, well, let's just take a look at what the skin for this character looks like. What the fuck is this? Okay, maybe this isn't the best representation of the skin, but I mean, the developers of Final Fantasy would have to have seen this and been like, what the fuck did you just do to our character? Right? Because, look, if I was to have a character or something that people ask me to use, I'd be like, okay, sure, use the character and make it look as transformative as possible. But they turned this into this. Like, what the fuck is this? This goofy ass face. Alright, I downloaded Apex Legends. I haven't played a single second of the game. I don't know, man. Extraction type shooters are just not my thing. I mean, and it's the fact that we would have had another Titanfall if it wasn't for Apex Legends. Like Apex Legends literally killed Titanfall. It's like the nail in the coffin. Well, it's also Titanfall came out at a very odd time. Like Titanfall 2 was probably one of the best games I've played at the time. Titanfall 1 sucked. But that goes to show what you do when you take the criticism that you had with the first product and actually apply it to the second product. Because yeah, Titanfall 2 was just an objectively better game. And you see many aspects of Apex Legends or of Titanfall in Apex Legends, but it's a shame that we're probably not going to get another Titanfall. I think that it would have been amazing if we would have got another Titanfall. But back on this, it's like I don't understand why you would turn this into this. Like you would have to put in effort to make a character look this ugly, right? And I get it. People don't care. It's like, oh, it's just a skin, this, that, and the other. I'm like, okay, in a video game, right? A visual medium. Many people will look at this and be like, yeah, this looks pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. People look at this and be like, what the fuck is this? I don't know how it will matter as far as skin sales or whatever, but I mean, the Final Fantasy people would have to be fucking livid. And again, many games go down this track of collabs and making. Well, I know Call of Duty does this all the damn time. Like I know they had the Laura Croft in it. She looked like ugly. It's like the problem with that was they didn't even bother to use a completely different model for Laura Croft for the skin. They just used the male character model for her, so she walked like she had big balls and all this. And I'm like, okay, well, I would say it's laziness. I guess in that case it's laziness, but in this one, like, you could have just. I don't understand why you couldn't have just put. Well, whatever. I'm not a game developer, right? But I just know that, in current day, or you're almost forced to make this, even if you don't want to, right? Even if you know it's gonna cost uh, resources to do this, to uglify them, you do it anyway, just to, I don't know, save you from backlash. But it's surprising that Japanese companies, right, don't need to care. Like, what is Final Fantasy under? Square Enix? Square Enix has their issues, but at least their game, the Final Fantasy games, visually look pleasing. Like they look like good games. I guess they have decent stories. Apex Legend, this is just, I don't know, an extraction shooter. But it does. The question is, why would you make this? Like, this doesn't even look appealing. It looks like an eyesore. Like, if I see this on the field, like, I'd just stop shooting altogether. I would it's even more to just let this abomination exist. Like, that is this, her own personal hell, than just putting it out of the misery. Then you look at this and you're like, oh, hey, yeah, Final Fantasy, doing Final Fantasy thing. I think this is the Rebirth collab. But I'm just ranting, right? This video is of no value. And again, you have the zero breast. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this was just a male model. You have the. This isn't the best picture to use. The goofy looking chin, the. I'm assuming the androgynous look, right? She probably doesn't even have an ass. And it's like, man, look, right? These are the things I would want to see in a video game. And I think it's completely normal, right? Because pixels on the screen, they don't exist. They don't have rights. And like, I had this conversation with a coworker, and she's like, oh, well, I really like anime because I like the way most of the characters look. I'm like, well, aren't you married? And she's like, yeah. And it's like, well, it'd be weird to like, anime waifus if you're married. And she's like, no. I'm like, huh? She's like, well, I mean, one is fiction. There's a difference between fiction and reality. And two, anime girls just don't look like humans. Right? I mean, you can gaslight yourself into thinking they're human beings, but they don't look like that. It's kind of the way, say, Teen Titans was. Like, you can like Raven, but not want to, like, whip your dick out and beat it to her. And I'm like, well, you know what? You actually make sense. And this woman was, like, 50 years old. And she's saying this. So it really surprised me that, companies and artists of these companies, they go out of their way to make this, right? They're trying to normalize this. And it's like, well, it's pixels on the screen, right? They flip shit when you see Bayonetta, right? They flip shit when you see the original Lara Croft with the triangular titties. But no, they add this, and people shut the hell up. Again, you're not supposed to notice this. You're not supposed to shit on this because then you're the issue. You're not supposed to notice this. But then you go to Japan, and it's like, okay, well, they look like this. And again, they try going after the Japanese art style. Like, again, the people who will defend this, right? The ideologues who will defend this will go after people that make this, right? They call you the racist, but then you go on Twitter and they become probably some of the biggest racists I've ever seen in my life against Japanese artists that draw, like, anime or even that draw hentai. But the furry artists are okay, right? The artists that make, I don't know, what is it, Steven Universe hentai is fine. But God forbid you draw an Uzaki-chan, because then, you're in the red zone, brother. You're a pedophile. And it's like, well, I mean, Uzaki-chan's clearly an adult, right? She's in college, and short women with big tits exist. Like I know the Californian mindset and art style. Like they don't go outside. Like they're only really surrounded by women like this. So if they see women like this, they're like, so they want to put that in the art that they shit out, right? That shitty cal arts, the easily reproducible type of art style that people absolutely reject. And I get it. The idea is, oh, it's for kids. It's like, well, I was a child, right? And I had Courage the Cowardly Dog, Codename Kid Next Door, Teen Titans, The Saturdays. I mean, you look at the art style of these cartoons, and they actually legitimately look visually pleasing. How I even say they stand up today in comparison to kids shows the shows that kids watch nowadays. Like if I wanted to punish my kid, I'd sit them in front of, I don't know, Steven Universe and have them watch that shit for like an hour straight. They'll be like, help! It's so terrible. I'm like, oh yeah, you did good here. Watch Teen Titans. Or like, oh, hell yeah. Or I could just show them this when they do bad, and then show them this when they do good. Like, again, the same people that say beauty is subjective, right? Beauty's subjective. And it's like, okay, well, you need an objective base. Otherwise, art just doesn't matter. Like, why is there art school? Why is that a profession? Why do artists always say they can always do better? Like, how can you gauge, right, progression in art if it's subjective? And it's also the same people that say art's subjective says offense is objective, right? When they're offended by something, it is objectively offensive. Like the way Bayonetta or Laura Croft looked is objectively offensive to women because it objectifies them. It's like, well, one, yes. I mean, they're pixels on the screen. They don't exist. You can't objectify an object by the very definition of the fucking word. And two, I mean, I think some things that objectify women in art should be allowed, and adults should make the decision themselves that, oh, do I want to consume this or not? No, well, fuck it. I guess not. Or if I do, well, hey, I'm a grown ass adult and can do whatever I want. Things should exist that offend. Things should exist, art should exist that objectifies, because that puts the image and it puts the idea in your head that this is what's happening. And maybe it's not a good thing, right? But that's the thing about art. It's supposed to portray an emotion. If you have an art that portrays zero emotion whatsoever, you're fucking bored. And if you're fucking bored, the art just fails. Like that artistic expression has failed. Right? And that's my wholehearted opinion of the idea. Things should exist that offend. Things should exist that objectifies. And that's just that. But that's all I gotta say about this. See ya.